So just to give a bit of context, I grew up doing folk dancing. My name is Lisa Heywood. My pronouns are she, her. I'm currently based in beautiful West Yorkshire in England. And what do I do? Too many things. I grew up doing mostly very gendered folk dancing. There were a couple of callers in the UK who have been doing gender-free calling since like the 70s, people like Mary Panton. Big shout out to Mary Panton. At the moment, I would describe myself as a dance caller, specifically a ceilidh and barn dance caller, mostly at the moment. I am also an arts administrator and events organizer. So I do a lot of spreadsheets. I'm particularly interested in inclusivity in dance and in finding, different ways to bring people in. One of the really nice things about lockdown was it brought this like big queer folky community together through this Facebook group called Not So Queer as Folk, and it was just like we had all of these people coming together, and I just wanted to like create something where we could share all of our queer folky ideas and performances and things, and sort of showcase queer folk artists. Where did it come from? So I think I came to gendered calling from a slightly different direction than queerness, actually. I came to it from inclusivity, and there was a Facebook group called Double Progress, so everybody's in all of the time, like, let's think about inclusion in folk dancing. And I think the gender-free calling discussion kind of started there from a number of different perspectives. I did not realize I was queer until like my early 20s or sort of maybe mid 20s. So I came to gender-free calling before I came to queerness. That kind of cemented my dedication to it, I suppose, when I realized that that was the thing that was true for me as well. I think that's partly really important for me because I benefited hugely from loads of like free resources that callers had put up. So for example, John Brown, who was one of the people who I credit with like teaching me to call, he used to do a lot of calling at Sheffield Ceilidh, and he ran workshops and sort of really supported me in the early years of me being a caller. And he basically put his whole dance collection online, which was just hugely useful. So I guess it's partly giving back in that sense, sort of paying it forward, I guess. And also one of the things that I noticed was missing amongst all of those resources was some specifically gender-free resources. When we all started talking about gender-free calling in the UK, lots of us, me included, went out and were like, we have to do this right now. I don't think there was anything wrong with that, but it did mean that we were all kind of making it up from scratch. Some of the things that people were saying were, I really agree with this, but I don't know where to start. Because not everyone does have the confidence to make it up from scratch. There shouldn't be like that sort of high barrier to entry to gender-free calling, even though I think there are arguments to say it's not as difficult as you think it is. Like, also it is a big scary thing to like completely change the way you do something, especially if you've been confident in doing it the way that if you've been doing gendered calling for like 30 or 40 years and you're really, really comfortable in that. So I think it's really important to acknowledge that. I just wanted to give people a starting point